Hey everyone, Greg Cazillo from Cazillo.com. Welcome to Keep Shooting Monday number 25. After more audio issues and more problems this week, I'm trying this for the second time again this week. Hopefully I get it right. Also, I do apologize that I am under the weather. Haven't been feeling very good. I don't know if it was from cutting the grass. I never had allergies or anything before, or I don't know where this came from. Usually I never get colds or anything in the middle of the summer, but I'm still pretty stuffed up, and so I'm going to do my best to get through this in a timely manner. If you do have any photo questions that you wanted to tweet over, send over, that would be great. I will answer them in a bit. Let me switch my camera. There we go. So, this week in photography news, first I have a $5 off sale going on for the t-shirts on the forum. Go to Cazillo.com/T and then enter the promo code at checkout SUMMER, and you will get $5 off. Ship them worldwide, or just about everywhere worldwide. Sorry about the little beep there. And so check them out. Get the $5 off. I have a good stock on everything, so I should be able to ship them out right away. Chris mentioned that he had bought LR Lightroom 4 on 4/16. 4/16, that was quite a while ago. And then he was still able to get the free upgrade to Lightroom 5. That's about 2 months later, and so that's a good amount of time. And 2 months, I expected Adobe to not give it for someone that bought it 2 months before. I was thinking maybe within 30 days, but maybe it's as far back as 90 days. I don't know, but that's pretty good, and I'm quite surprised at that. Dropbox. This is very interesting, and this goes to show that you always need to pay attention, see what's going on, who's buying the products that you're using, the online products. Do you have a problem, or basically, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you have a backup? Do you have a local backup? Don't use any kind of an online service as your primary place for your backup, because maybe the moon can align with the stars and the sun and everything, and your laptop just happens to go down at the same time as, say, your internet connection goes down, and you can't get any of your photos. Or maybe one of these online services like this gets shut down at the same time your laptop goes. I know that the chances of that are pretty low, but it's still possible. So do yourself a favor. Make sure you have a couple of backups, either a local hard drive backup and an online service, or 2 local backups, or hard drive backups besides your primary. Make sure you have a good system. I do have a couple videos on backups, and I will put all of these links and things in the description of the YouTube page, and of course on the post on the websites. I don't know why someone would want to do this and paint their Nikon lenses white, but apparently in Taiwan you can have that done. Personally, I wouldn't do it. I'm not a fan of a white lens. I like my black Nikon lenses. It's just a partial thing to me, but apparently Nikon's doing it. So interesting, huh? Next thing I wanted to mention was this over here on Gizmodo. A couple really cool early color photographs from DDay, and just really neat to see where we came from, where we started, and kind of where we've gone to now. And figure DDay was what, in the 40s? I think it was 46. I want to say 40, something like that. I'm terrible. Somebody would tweet that, that'd be great. I am absolutely terrible with history. I don't remember history very well at all. I have way too many other things going on in my head to remember history, but I do have some friends that are really awesome with history. They can probably tell me the exact date and all that stuff, but I just can't seem to commit it to memory and remember it, and then kind of regurgitate it. So anyway, neat photos, old stuff, check them out, and yeah, cool. Next, Adobe finally has released their subscription-only Creative Cloud version of Photoshop. You can pick it up. You can get the new updates. And they have a couple of things in here that were being updated. The Smart Sharpen, Camera Shake Reduction Filter, and the ability to apply camera raw edits as layers. Those are all quite interesting. And so maybe one of these days I'll try it out and purchase it. as of right now, I'm still happy with CS5 on my laptop, and actually I'm still running, I think it's 4 or 5 on my desktop. I forget which it is on the desktop. Anyway, I really don't need to upgrade as of yet. As of probably most people are probably going to be the same. So, yeah, that's it. This seems to be happening more and more and more. That photographers seem to have to be suing people, suing companies for using their photographs. This one's a little bit different, and this image was, I believe it's this image anyway, was owned by this guy Kai Esseline, and basically what happened is he complained to them saying, hey, take my photo down, you don't have the rights to use it, you didn't pay for it. And so since BuzzFeed people repost everything on BuzzFeed all over the world, they're suing BuzzFeed because they caused all of this. And so ended up being, hey, it's a major problem. The point that I wanted to make in this, as far as the United States is concerned, if you think that your images might get stolen or used for anything, you need to be registering them with the Copyright Office. There is a way that you can do so online for a minimal cost. If you are worried about it, start doing it and make it a habit of doing it, publishing all of your images, and then you won't have to worry about it. Or I shouldn't say you won't have to worry about it. I should say that when you go to sue someone, if you absolutely have to, you'll be able to win in court. If your photos are not registered, it is very, very tough in order to win when you are in court because they're not registered. So, yeah, so check that out and register images if you're worried. Next thing I mentioned here, Canon issues a product advisory for the 1DX and 1DC cameras for insufficient lubrication. So you need more lube when you're using a Canon? Is that what it is, rather than other brands? Okay, wonderful. So basically, the Canon cameras are with certain serial numbers, yada yada yada. Basically, certain parts are wearing. I'm guessing it has something to do with the autofocus, and so if you happen to have one of these cameras, which are pretty high-end cameras, you probably already know about it. But make sure you send it in, get more lube, and then they will send it back to you probably for free. Let me check all the tweets here real quick. There's been a number of them come in. Got that. Okay, so we do have a couple of questions in here. Also, for some reason, there's a really loud beep or buzz. Yeah, that's my... I'm in the back room, so it's... Don't worry about it. Try to avoid it. How's that sound? Alright, so we have a couple questions there. You know what? Let's go through these Twitter questions real quick first. First thing, what do you suggest? Specializing on one style of photography or trying to diversificate, which is not a word, diversify your business? My suggestion would be to say that you specialize, but still be able to do everything. So as far as your website is concerned, as far as your portfolio, that kind of thing is concerned, show that you specialize and you do like what I do. I primarily do my weddings and family portraits, but I still am able to do other things. So you've seen a lot of sports photography that I've done lately in events, and so that's kind of the way that I've found that works out good for me. Might be different in your area or in your country, but works for me. So I say that I specialize, but then I still also do these other things because I am rather good at, say, product photography and getting consistent images for things like that. Or say fashion. You know, I'm not great at fashion, but I can get through it. Really good at interiors. I do enjoy those. I do enjoy the events, getting out on weekends. The nice thing about events is, and event photography, especially some of the ones that I've been doing lately, is that it allows me to get in front of an extra, say, 50, 100, 200 families that I wouldn't have before that were at that event. And so that's really cool and does make a difference. By the way, something I also wanted to mention, and I was going to mention it earlier, but I forgot. On Saturday, I was getting ready to, I was here in the studio, and I was going to record a show. Should have, because I'm obviously under the weather now. Wouldn't have been an issue today. But I got a call from another photographer that I work with, and she said, actually, she's helped me out on a number of events, that kind of thing. And she said, "Hey, Greg, I just had a call from one of my event people, and they said, hey, can you come shoot these games for me today?" I said, "Yeah, sure, I can do that." Ended up going and shooting last minute, getting there within about an hour. It was about 45. Wow, looking outside, it looks like it's going to storm really bad really soon. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, it was a nice day outside. Ended up shooting girls softball, a lot of fun. And she actually thought it was going to be soccer, or the person told her it was going to be soccer. Anyway, long story short, I ended up going and shooting softball, and so I'm going to go through some of those photos, probably on Thursday, shoot a video of those, show you some of my better images, and kind of go through my thoughts when shooting softball or baseball, that kind of thing. I haven't done one of those videos in a while, and I think it would be a good one, it'd be a fun one. But yeah, basically be ready, know what you need to grab and what to shoot. In this particular instance, it was going to be sports no matter what, so I just needed to grab my primary camera bag with my 70-200, two bodies, 24-70, 14-24, spare batteries. Sorry, I said batteries before, I meant bodies, something like that. Anyway, make sure that you have all that stuff with you. Your batteries are charged, your cards are in the right place. 2 weeks ago, I went to a photo shoot, and I actually got there and realized that I didn't have a cable for one of the laptops that I needed to use. And so basically my point is, make sure that you're ready to go, you have the things that you need to have, double checking your equipment, putting it back in the same place every time, and if someone else is helping you to pack up, double check them before you go back out on the shoot, because like me, I got stuck without that one laptop. It wasn't a huge deal at this particular event, but it potentially could have been if it would have been the other laptop cable, as the spare laptop is the one that I was missing, and I was just going to set it up so people could view the photos rather than the primary one, which obviously would have been a big deal, and then I wouldn't be able to show anything. So yeah, so double check that stuff. A couple of questions from today from a Facebook page. By the way, this is facebook.com/Cazillo Photo. If you have not already subscribed or liked or something, whatever that term is that they use anymore. So, if you, from Roy, if you are using a not so fast focusing lens, how will you make sure you get attack sharp images while shooting sports? The only way that I can think of is, well, there's a couple things. Number one, if you pre-focus. So say, like the softball that I was shooting. Say I knew the play was going to be at first base. If I would pre-focus on that first base, and then when the subject moves into the frame, I shoot, got it, I'm done. And shooting the batter at home plate, no problem. I can focus, pre-focus, wait for the ball to come in, shoot. That's what I do anyway with continuous. Same with the pitchers, same with the individual players that I shoot. The problem is going to come in when you are focusing and refocusing from, say, the ball, you're standing on the third base line, the ball gets hit right in front of you to the third baseman, then it gets thrown over to the first baseman to get the guy on first base out. That's going to be a problem, that refocus from one spot to another, especially that distance. So those are the shots that you're going to end up missing. But if you're able to kind of pre-focus, then you'll be okay. Now, the other thing that you can try is manual focus. You might find that you're a little bit faster when it comes to manual focus, especially if it's a kind of a fixed position. Say, you're going to change your focus from something right in the foreground to way in the background, and there are two fixed spots. You can kind of judge those two spots, and you might be able to just kind of rack it from one spot to the next, and just got some muscle memory to make that work. Best case scenario is always, though, upgrade your equipment, especially when you're shooting sports. There is no replacement for a fast lens when you're shooting sports. Just the way it is. So there's a couple of tips that might help you. Need some tips on rugby photography? Sorry, I've never shot rugby. Can't help you there. Follow the action as best you can. Follow the ball. Make sure that you're shooting other things besides just the primary action. So shooting other players, maybe the stands, maybe the coaches. Make sure you're catching some of the other things. And I think some of the tips that I'm going to be bringing up on Thursday's video with the softball is going to be a good one that could apply to a lot of sports. So check that out. Was there ever a time you were unsure of the quality of your work, and if so, how did you overcome it? As I always say, keep shooting. You cannot get better in this type of creative art without practice. You have got to keep practicing all the time, all the time, all the time. That's why I say it week in and week out is keep shooting. It's the only way that you're going to get better. Sorry guys, I need to take a little drink of water here since I'm a little under the weather. That's better. Okay. So, let's see if there were another question. I think there might have been another question here that someone posted. Oh, yes. That word came from Italian. So that makes sense. Crop sensor versus full frame for landscapes. In my opinion, doesn't matter. I would still be shooting full frame. If you can afford it, definitely go with the full frame camera, in my opinion. One other place I did want to look was the YouTube and see if there were any questions over there. Let's see. What do we have? Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How do you get paid for an event, and what pictures do you give them? I post the majority of the photos that I shoot. Not everything, but the majority of them I'll post and put up. How do I get paid? People buy the photos, whether it's a single digital file, whether it is a printed photo. So that's it. You had to upgrade to Windows 7 or 8 for LR5. That's probably true. I did not check those specs, but I would say that's probably true on that. If you haven't, it's worth upgrading to Windows 7. It's a huge difference. Did you ever try the D7100 or D600? No, I have not. And the rest of them are comments about the horrible audio and then the fixed audio. Advice on using a manual focus lens. Is there any way cheaper than autofocus one? No, not really. You just need to bite the bullet and buy the good autofocus lenses, especially when you're shooting sports like we just talked about. So, gonna switch back. Oops, I didn't switch at all. Okay. So, last thing I wanted to talk about today was our awesome new photo assignment. I posted it onto the forum, and so the new assignment is going to be patriotism. All right. Now, I know you guys live in all different countries all over the world, so I don't expect it just to be U.S. flags and red, white, and blue. Obviously, your country, you live in a different country. Say that Italian reviewer guy that's been around a lot. I would think that he lives in Italy, so I would think that he's going to be using green, white, and red as his colors. And I think that's the right colors. Yeah, I think that's the right ones for the Italian flag. I really should know that. Anyway, so yeah, patriotism. The reason why I thought of patriotism is coming up in about 10 days. On July 4th, which is 2 weeks, is July 4th. I forget what it's called. See, I told you I'm horrible with my history. I actually even looked this up, and I tried to remember it, and I'm trying to remember what the word is that I'm looking for. Independence Day. That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, July 4th is the American Independence Day, and so that's the reason why I thought, hey, let's do a patriotism theme. Let's get some neat photos, whether it's of your flag, whatever it is that you feel is patriotic in your country and shows patriotism, basically love of your country. That's what I want to see. Let's see a really neat picture story with, say, 3-4 photos, something like that. I think this will be a really neat one. I posted this onto the forums early, actually on this past Friday. So if you join the forum, you can see those a little bit early, and you'll actually end up with 2 weekends rather than just 1 weekend. And I hope you guys are following along and doing these assignments, even if you're not posting them onto the forum as to be shown. So if you are doing that, tweet me. I'll retweet some of your photos. And I just hope that you guys are getting more out of it, rather than just seeing me post these and seeing me talk about these and seeing the ones that are up there, and the people that are actually week in and week out. It's kind of some of the same people on a regular basis, but hopefully you guys are getting something out of it too. So a couple photos here from this week's Anything Edited in Lightroom assignment. I've never been a fan of the Dutch angle thing, but it kind of works in this one, and it's edited just enough. We have a little bit of a vignette around, brings your eyes in. It's just saturated enough. It's very clean. It's just punchy enough, and the skin tones aren't over punchy. The white balance is very clean and clear. I'm just not a fan of the Dutch angle thing, but it kind of works on this one, so I kept it. That was 4. And so this one is 3. I chose it because I like the photo, even though it wasn't edited a lot. There wasn't a whole lot of changes in this particular image. Still a neat one, though, and I like his watermark. I think it's a really neat watermark down there. And so, yeah, that was that one. I wish I knew what it is. I don't know if it's some kind of a bridge or something like that, maybe. Not positive what it is. Anyway, this next one here, neat portrait, and this goes to show that when you start with a good exposure and you start with good focus, you can really make an image pop within Lightroom. Now, the place that my eye goes right away when I see this photograph is right to her eye and her eyelashes. That's the spot it needs to be. It's nice and tack sharp, and it's the good amount of contrast. It's not too contrasty to lose the detail there in her eye and her eyelashes. And she has big, beautiful eyelashes, and and I'm sure she has beautiful eyes, even though you can only see it from the side. But neat image, and perfect editing, not overboard, just the right amount of saturation, the right amount of contrast, at least in my opinion anyway. And you can see the before and after there, which is pretty dramatic. Always need to edit your photos when you're shooting raw, and this was a good example of that. Last one, this one is the most dramatic, and this particular one, I almost didn't pick this one as number 1 for one reason, and that reason is I hate the watermark. Sorry, Grease Man. There's the before. Steven. I hate the watermark. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. A drop shadow, in my opinion, should never be that far away. That's just a design thing to me. I don't know. Just bothers the heck out of me. But anyway, big dramatic difference. Looks like he played with his white balance in order to get that change. I think, anyway. Neat, though. This is kind of bland. You bring this up and you look at it, it's like, it's a gray sky. And, there really isn't a whole lot going on. It's not really punching. The tones aren't there to really bring you in. But then you look here and you're like, wow, that's got a lot more punch to it. And those tones are different and stronger. And so that's why I chose this one as number 1. But I almost didn't do it as number 1 because I don't like that big drop shadow, the way that shadow is. So try and get a more creative watermark for yourself, whether it's a logo. Maybe that's the logo for your business, I don't know. But I just don't like that drop shadow being that far away. I've never been a fan. And so, yeah. I think that's it for today. Independence Day. I can't forget that next time. Independence Day. Us Americans, we're terrible with our history. So, anyway, I think that is everything for today. Let me check one more time on YouTube, see if there were any other questions, and I will do the same on Twitter here. Yes, that looks like this photo, our portrait of our young girl, was taken with an 85-1.8, which is awesome. And so, yep, tack sharp on the eye, and that's what you want. From Jim, coworkers starting to ask for images for personal use in home, enlarging on the wall. Would you print and price yourself, as they seem to think I'm going to give the image as they do? Yes. If you expect to make money from it, then you need to make money from it. You need to charge for it. So even if it's only, maybe it's friends or a coworker or something like that, and you give them a big discount off of everything. Maybe it's your actually regular price, but make them think that they're getting something. Maybe let them buy one print, and then they get a couple more prints for free. Do something for them extra, maybe. But if you expect to be making money from it, you've got to charge. So yeah, you know, if you want to pay for that expensive new camera, that new lens, that new anything, then you need to be charging everybody. And so yeah. I'm not sure what your question means. When exporting from Lightroom, does the export setting apply to all prints? Usually when you export, you're exporting an image and not a print. I'm not sure what that means. So I'll probably end up answering him in the comments later on and go from there. So yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. I don't have anything else. Ooh, Twitter. Gonna check Twitter. And no more. Okay, that's it. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Make sure you head over to the website, pick up a t-shirt, $5 off. Code is summer, and get your photos posted over to the forum the following 2 Fridays from now by 5 p.m. And patriotism. Greg Cazillo, Cazillo.com. Thanks, guys. Keep shooting. See ya.